Now, you know, well, I've been waiting for this. Bullseye Beaver. Come on out, show us your evening wear. Ooh. The first thing you notice about any singing cow beaver is his hat. Bullseye tonight features his Vegas strip lid in lurid midnight azure. This made-for-showbiz chapeau helps dim the glare of the Klieg lights that accompany Bullseye's nocturnal movements. Oh, Bullseye. While reflecting the cool neon of the electric canyons where he plies his trade and woos his fans. Bullseye's shirt commemorates the card game that built the West and a tradition of fine sartorial embroidery and piking that can be seen from Nashville all the way to Branson, Missouri. The two symmetrical poker hands of royal flush and the suit of hearts symbolize Bullseye's love of all the creatures of the wetlands, as well as his role as an emissary of love, wherever there is music to be played and merry to be made. Over the glittering glory of his well-appointed chemise, Bullseye sports a silky, smooth ermine and red velvet cape. Now, Bullseye's musical mentor, Beaverace, liked to wear a long and flowing cape, and that suited Beaverace's more languid style. But Bullseye is a sporty beaver of action who is known for riding horses and roping dogies and dancing with beavers. So he needs a cape that lets him move as he shakes his tail. And what a tail it is, a glittering, streamlined appendage that shimmers in the southern breeze and sparkles in the sweet water of Ellerby Creek. Resplendent gold flows between rows of glittering medallions that shake and shimmy like a teenage beaver in a Bullseye show. 2 parts country, 1 part Vegas, 100% Bull City, ladies and gentlemen, Bullseye Beaver! Oh, thanks for sharing. All right, now, I've got a question for you. Now, y'all have heard this before. And you're a good listener, so I'm going to go into this a little quicker. In the 18th and 19th centuries, beavers were trapped intentionally for their fur to near extinction. Some historians credit beavers the exploitation of their pelts, in particular with contributing more to development in the United States and Canada than any other animal. How would you avoid a beaver trap?
Well, Bullseye knows all about traps, you see. Of course, there was that time in Tucson. Well, I won't get into that. Of course, I ended up in a hotel room with a whole bunch of sassafras powder. Boy, I got kind of sassy. But I got awful dry out there in that sassy lifestyle, hotel rooms. But I got myself damp again. Bullseye, how'd you do that? Well, first thing I had to understand was the Bullseye Beaver himself was powerless to change. And then he had to enlist the help of the great beaver in the sky. You know the great beaver?
All right.
He looks kind of like Yoda Beaver, except he's a lot taller. The second thing I had to realize that it takes a beaver lodge to avoid traps. No one beaver can do it by himself and the great beaver. So if you see another beaver, help that beaver out, and you'll both avoid a trap. Of course, there are some traps that a beaver might be interested in, and maybe a beaver doesn't want to avoid those traps. Well, maybe it's the time that you're looking after your beaver kids. You're tucking them in, reading them beaver time stories, and you can't go anywhere, so it's a trap, but it's an awful good trap. And then there's the trap that happens, well, maybe it happened to one of you. One of your beaver buddies enlists your help, and you end up in the beaver pageant. And then there's that kind of trap, the trap we get ourselves into, that kind of trap that makes the world go around. It's that kind of trap where you see a beaver that you just don't think that you can live without. It's the kind of beaver that you just want to saddle up to say, howdy. There's some traps that a beaver just can't wait to get into.
Thank you, Bullseye. I feel educated. Bullseye Beaver, folks. I'm telling you. Sort of heroic, don't you think?
Thank you, Jimmy.
You couldn't ask for a better neighbor. It's a little inside joke. Okay. Gee. Gosh, there was something I wanted to say.